Ferrari wants to play its World Championship cards until the end. Although it is 21 points behind McLaren in the Constructors Championship, the team is still in the running for the title and will try to exploit all the potential of the SF24 in pursuit of a team championship that has eluded Maranello since 2008. The Abu Dhabi circuit has historically not been favorable for Ferrari, but the Yas Marina track seems less penalizing for the Scuderia compared to Qatar, where the weather was colder than expected. In the United Arab Emirates capital, there will be no surprises. Weather forecasts predict an air temperature of 28 degrees Celsius, returning to the typical conditions of the Persian Gulf. Theoretically, the two contenders will be able to compete for the title on equal terms, and McLaren, with its advantage, can manage the race, possibly playing defensively against Ferrari. Vasseur has kept the team under pressure to arrive at the final race with the championship still open. In Abu Dhabi, we will see an attacking Ferrari. With nothing to lose, the Scuderia will push the SF24 to its limits. The Abu Dhabi circuit has historically not been favorable for Ferrari, but the Yas Marina track seems less penalizing for the Scuderia compared to Qatar, where the weather was colder than expected. In the United Arab Emirates capital, there will be no surprises. Weather forecasts predict an air temperature of 28 degrees Celsius, returning to the typical conditions of the Persian Gulf. Theoretically, the two contenders will be able to compete for the title on equal terms, and McLaren, with its advantage, can manage the race, possibly playing defensively against Ferrari. Vasseur has kept the team under pressure to arrive at the final race with the championship still open. In Abu Dhabi, we will see an attacking Ferrari. With nothing to lose, the Scuderia will push the SF24 to its limits. A very low setup was tested in the simulator, as the Yas Marina track surface is almost billiard-like. No one from Ferrari has spoken about it clearly, but the technical directive unexpectedly introduced in Las Vegas affected Ferrari not only by requiring adjustments to the floor, adding unplanned costs to the budget cap, but it also had an impact on performance. How much? How little? It's obviously hard to say, but when four teams are battling for pole position with just a few thousandths of a second between them, it's clear that every detail can make a big difference. On the Abu Dhabi track, we will see an SF24 as low as possible, and Carlos Sainz should also be convinced to use the new floor that Charles Leclerc tested and approved in Lusail. The Monegasque never had doubts about the validity of the new solution, while the Spaniard rejected it without hesitation in FP1 in Las Vegas, and then was not tempted to use it last weekend, even though there were available components. From the debriefing of Sunday's race, it emerged that Carlos Sainz's floor would not have been significantly damaged by the left front tire puncture, although the Spaniard could not find the pace to attack Pierre Gasly's fifth place with the Alpine. Rumors coming from Maranello also confirmed that the analysis of the punctured tire showed there were no debris from the rearview mirror lost by Alexander Albon's Williams and crushed by Valtteri Bottas's Sauber. The tire was essentially finished. Beneath the tread, the construction was visible, indicating that the tire had exceeded its durability limit, waiting for the race director to call in the safety car to remove the carbon debris. It seems that this issue affected both Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton, who experienced tire degradation on the same lap. Ferrari is ready to push the power unit as well, knowing that McLaren, using a customer Mercedes engine, will have fewer opportunities to push their power unit closer to its reliability limit. It was said that Charles Leclerc would have lost a couple of tenths due to the fatigue of the Unit 4 installed in the Netherlands, but this was not confirmed, as the Monegasque delivered a flawless race to finish second behind Max Verstappen. In Abu Dhabi, even the power unit, including the hybrid system, will be pushed to its maximum performance. In short, expect Ferrari to give it their all until the end, perhaps hoping McLaren will make another mistake. The MCL38 has underperformed relative to its actual potential. If Norris and Piastri don't make mistakes, it will be almost impossible for Ferrari to overturn a prediction that heavily favors the Woking team. However, the two drivers of Andrea Stella have accustomed us to mistakes that have cost the team dearly, so Ferrari will leave no stone unturned. Therefore, in Abu Dhabi, a challenge reminiscent of past times takes place, with two of the most successful teams in Formula One once again battling for the world title. McLaren starts with the calm of a team managing a 21-point lead, while Ferrari is forced to achieve a double podium, hoping that the rivals from Woking don't get too close. the Scuderia finds motivation in the heat and the tires, but also clings to help from Max Verstappen. On paper, we are probably in a better position for various factors, including temperatures and the layout of the track, says Vasseur, just days before the decisive race. Abu Dhabi presents itself as a more neutral circuit compared to the last two, with Las Vegas suiting Ferrari's characteristics more, while Qatar played to McLaren's strengths. The Yas Marina circuit features some slow 90-degree corners, such as corners 12, 16, or the 6-7 chicane, which are favored by a Ferrari with excellent mechanical grip and good traction from low speeds. On the other hand, corners of medium speed and long turns, such as 5 or the double 13, 14, as well as the long and fast corner 9, are more suited to McLaren's preferences. Abu Dhabi is also notable for its long straights, which will penalize less powerful power units nearing the end of their lifespan. Overall, the track requires a medium aerodynamic load setup, allowing McLaren to reintroduce their new and unique rear wing, which was first introduced during the Brazilian Grand Prix. Ferrari, on the other hand, is relying on the new floor that showed positive results in Qatar on Leclerc's car, generating great interest to see if the Scuderia can manage the logistical and financial challenge of bringing a second version of this floor to Carlos Sainz's car. The design of the circuit will be the starting point, but the 2024 Formula One season has taught us that tires, track surface, and environmental conditions can make an even bigger difference. In this regard, Ferrari celebrates the return of the softer Pirelli tire compounds, C3, C4, and C5, which are the opposite of the harder compounds used in Qatar, which Ferrari struggled with. The asphalt here has greater grip and, above all, more abrasiveness compared to Lusail's, speeding up tire hysteresis. In other words, the tires heat up faster due to the greater micro-deformations in contact with the ground, a process that generates heat. This is an aspect that, on paper, mitigates Ferrari's difficulties in preparing the tires for a flying lap. In Abu Dhabi, qualifying and the race are held at night, but the track temperatures should still exceed 30 degrees Celsius, a full 10 degrees Celsius higher than those recorded in Qatar. The window of operation for the cars shifts toward higher temperatures, a change that also favors Ferrari. Additionally, as already happened in Lusail, the first and third free practice sessions take place before sunset, with a subsequent cooling of the track for qualifying and the race. In Qatar, the ground effect Formula One cars already showed extreme sensitivity to this factor, with track evolution tending to shift the balance toward the rear. In Abu Dhabi, the expected temperature drop is as much as 10 degrees Celsius, more than double that experienced in the last race, presenting an additional challenge in finding the correct setup. Both teams need a perfect execution of the weekend to be crowned champions, starting with the management of qualifying. In 2023, the gaps were extremely narrow, with 15 drivers within 0.4 of a second, leading to the shocking elimination of Carlos Sainz in Q1. Managing traffic is crucial, as the tight third sector tends to create long queues, risking cooling down the tires of those attempting a flying lap, a scenario similar to Monaco.